This video on direct and indirect questions. Okay, it might seem like an art to ask questions sometimes. So we sometimes want to be too direct, like, "Hey, what's your name? Well, what do you do? What do you want to do? Well, would you like to drink a coffee, etc." But depending on the context we are using the questions in, it might sound sometimes too direct, right, or too rude. So let's see the best way to use a nice mood so people understand that we are trying to be nice. So now you know the first part here is that direct questions are the typical questions we use, as I'm going to show you right away. Yeah, I want you to read this part here and let me know how you like it. Okay. And I truly hope that you like this video. I'm gonna make it short so you don't get bored and you understand the topic. Okay, promise. It's very simple. We had direct questions like what? Yeah, the typical things that you know already, and they are used in informal and daily life context, daily everyday conversations. And I want to show you some examples here, like what's your name? Why do you want this job? It's a typical question in a job interview. How much do you earn? Okay. Uh, when do you see the advertisement? How long have you lived here? How long have you lived here? How long have you lived in Bogota? How long have you lived in Colombia? What do you want to do? What are you gonna do tomorrow? What you gonna do? What you gonna, etc. Okay, so they are direct questions. Those are the typical questions structure we learn from elementary and high school, and we practice that every day in institutes. And every time we had the chance to talk to somebody who speaks English. Where will you work next year? Now look at these sentences, okay? Where does he study? That's the direct one. Okay, so if I want to make it indirect, I add this part of the sentence here. I want to know where he studies. So what happens here? What's the difference? The difference is that in number one we have the auxiliary does, and in number two we don't have it. Let's see. Was you right? Can you tell me where he studies? Okay, let's see. Let's see. I wanna uh, remark the difference here between the sentences. So what is the difference? No does in sentence 2 and 3, so we don't have an auxiliary, as I told you. I want to know where he studies. Why? We have structured questions here, so it wouldn't sound good if we repeat the structure of a question here, which would happen if we use an auxiliary here. So it's not necessary. We already have an introduction to the statement here, okay? And it's not a question. This is a question, so you need auxiliary, okay? Let's see. We actually, can you tell me what is the difference? No, that's a question in sentences 2 and 3. Another difference is they are indirect questions, correct? Sentence 1 is a direct question, as you already noticed. See, indirect questions. Sentences that report a question, like, can you tell me where the hospital is? Can I know what you want to do here? So we don't say, can you tell me where is the hospital? Because can you tell me that that introductory form there is already a question form. So we'll be repeating. Okay, would be redundant, like say. Sentences that report a question softer and more polite. So this is a key issue here. If you want to sound more polite, softer, we use indirect questions in all types of situations. So you want to know the time, for example. Usually, direct question is, what time is it? Indirect is, can you tell me what time is it now? Because you have, what can you tell me? You have the structure of a question in the first part of the sentence. Don't repeat another question in the same question. So you say, can you, so you should say, can you tell me what time it is? Often used in formal context, correct. And there's no inversion. All right. There's no inversion is do you, is he, are they. So when there's no inversion, say it is, I work, not do you work or does he work. They are. Okay. Not interrogative words. You don't need them. They are indirect questions, so you don't use interrogative words here. So I want you to keep this in mind because it's really important. Non-spatial intonation. Okay. Consists of two parts. A polite expression. Can you tell me? Can I know? Would you tell me? Okay. And a question. Introductory phrases, and I do want you to memorize this. If I were you, I would do it. Okay. So the introductory phrases for indirect questions are: Do you know? Well, some of them. Do you know where the hospital is? For example, can you tell me? Can you tell me what you do here? Can you tell me what you want to do? Can you tell me why you are here? Could you tell me what time it is? So don't forget, try to memorize this one here, and these are the introductory phrases that you can use in indirect indirect questions. So they are polite. You see, they sound softer, more polite. Do you have any idea of Do you have an idea of where Johnny is right now? Do you mind telling me what time it is? Do you mind telling me what your occupation is? Not what is your occupation, what your occupation is. Remember, indirect questions. I'd like to know if you want to go play football tomorrow. I want to know if, I want to know is, if, I like to know if, I like to know where the hospital is. I wonder what you do here. I wonder, what are you doing here? No. I wonder, that's the introductory expression, and then the statement, what you are doing here. You don't invert the sentence like what that's like we do for a question. So we just use the not inverted normal English structure. Other expressions are, please tell me where the teacher is right now. Please tell me where Johnny has gone. Please tell me where you have been all this time. Do you happen to know how much um, a Coke is? Can you tell me if or whether, right? Can you tell me if we are having that class tomorrow? Can you tell me if we are having that class tomorrow? Can you tell me if everybody knows that we have that class tomorrow? Okay. Can you let me know if people are really interested in this class? Has he told you if? Has he told you whether, which is the same, if or whether? Okay, and the statement. So what I want you to do is you to practice, make an example with all these sentences. Okay, polite introductory phrases, and make your own examples. So you can pause the video here as you want and start making your examples. All right. Practice here. Make your own sentences. That's the best way to store in your mind the example. So later on, when you need to talk, you don't have to be thinking, okay, or if during a conversation, we never think that way. Like, what's the structure here? Shall I invert? Shall I use the auxiliary or not? The best thing you can do is always practicing. So when you have the actual conversation, it will flow out naturally, right? Do that indeed. Omit it in the indirect question. Direct question, what do you want? Indirect, can you tell me what you want? So you don't use do here. We don't need it here. Okay, no, we don't need it here. Yes, no questions. If or whether. Direct question, have you seen the teacher? Now, indirect, could you tell me if you have seen the teacher or whether the teacher? How to change indirect into or direct into indirect questions. Add the polite expression. Can you tell me? Do you happen to know? I wonder if, etc. Move am, is, are after the subject and delete do and does. I think it's very clear here. So you take this model here and then you can start like just I don't know, making sentences or having some conversation with your friends, calling on the phones, do some practice using indirect questions, okay? Examples, are the students paying attention? I wonder if my students are paying attention. Another example is, do you have my email? Could you tell me if you have my email? No, so do we do these sentences here fill these conditions here? Add the polite expression. I wonder if move am is are they move after the subject? Yes, students is the subject. We have are after the subject and delete do does. Could you tell me if? So they delete do because we don't use it here. Do you have? No. Okay. Could you tell me if you have my email? Okay. 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 Let me check some. Direct into indirect. And now again, direct into indirect. Yes. Okay. A role play. Student A, you're at the information desk at a hotel, an office block, a museum, etc. I want information about services, people, exhibitions, etc. Think of as many indirect questions as you can, okay? Alexia's student B role, you are a new receptionist and don't know any information. Example, student A says, can you tell me where the rest room is? And the receptionist, student B, may go like, sorry, I don't know what it is. And you go on, okay, with the conversation. So that's, I think, it's a nice way to have a nice conversation, a real practice. Okay.